So we've talked about the rotation of axes. Now I want to talk about the discriminant test. So this is another way, instead of actually eliminating the x and y term, in a case where they ask you to identify the conic section, you can use a discriminant test to just help you do that. So the concept is very, very simple. I've already explained to you that if you have an equation in the form of ax squared plus bxy plus cy squared and plus plus plus, the key idea is the coefficient of x squared is a, coefficient of the product is b, and then of y squared is c. So we can actually use these to help us test. So the formula for the discriminant test is b squared minus 4ac. I think this is something familiar. If you remember quadratics, the quadratic formula, it would be b squared minus 4ac. So just capitalize that and you have a formula for yourself. Okay. So now, what is the key here? When it's equal to 0, it's a parabola. Okay. When it's less than 0, it's an ellipse. And when it's greater, it's a hyperbola. Hyper means bigger, so in this case we use that to help us remember. The hyperbola will be greater than 0, and then when it's equal to 0, it's a parabola. The ellipse will be less than 0. Okay, so I hope you got that. So pause the video. Given x squared plus xy plus y squared, and then minus 1 is equal to 0, feel free to pause the video and perform a discriminant test. Is it an ellipse? Is it a parabola? Is it a hyperbola? Okay, so the concept is very simple. B squared minus 4ac. Okay, so I told you to say the coefficient of x squared is your a. In this case, it's a 1. And then your b is the coefficient of the product. So a, b, and your c is the coefficient of y squared. So our b is 1, so 1 squared minus 4. Our a is 1 as well. Our c is 1 as well. So we have 1 minus 4, which is a minus 3. So is minus 3 greater or less than 0? So this is less than 0. Not greater, less than 0. So since negative 3 is less than 0, sorry, that implies that this is what? This is an ellipse. Okay. Okay, try another one here. I've got another one for you. xy minus y squared minus 5y plus 1 is equal to 0. Is it a hyperbola, an ellipse, or what? Okay, so you want to arrange it in a order that it actually you don't confuse yourself. So the fact that we don't have x squared, what does that mean here? Okay, so identify your a. Your a is the coefficient of x squared. We don't have any here, so it implies that's got a 0. So 0. Our b is the coefficient of the xy, which is a 1, and then our c is the coefficient of y squared, which is a negative 1 in this case. Okay, do to substitute. B squared minus 4ac. Your b is a 1, 4, your a is a 0, your c is a negative 1, so it doesn't matter. You end up with just a 1 minus 0, which is just a 1. Now a 1 is of course what? A 1 is greater than 0, so this is a hyperbola. A hyperbola. So a hyperbola is greater than 0. And then of course, lastly, 3x squared minus 6xy plus 3y squared plus 2x minus 7. Do the same. B squared minus 4ac. Your b is the coefficient of xy, so that's a minus 6. And then your a is the coefficient of x squared, which is a 3. And then your c is the coefficient of y squared, which is a 3 as well. And then you end up with 56. 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 4 is 56. So end up with a 0. Okay. or 4 times 2 is 12 times 3 56, so 0. So this is a parabola. Okay, so basically we've done this discriminant test, and that's where we end.